Yeah.
Well, let's move on to what's my favorite part of the show. And then after that, we'll talk about Seahawks. But for now, we'll move on to my favorite part of the show. And I don't have the sounder. So I'll just say, it's Stump Daniel, which is brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz, no relation.
What's the A stand for?
And Daniel, since we've been talking about...
Is it Arnold?
March Madness, Arnold. I'm from the future.
Anthony? I'll just keep saying A names.
It's Anthony.
Right. Big Penny Hardaway fan there.
One of the most fun things about this year's tournament, and we knew going into it, like, you know, we've heard Andrew talk about this too. Like, he's always rooting for maximum chaos.
Yes.
Like, we want maximum chaos. We want upsets galore.
The way Andrew picks his bracket is he picks his bracket and then literally roots for every upset, whether he picked it or not.
Yeah. And because of the state of college basketball, and I don't know, it's kind of been trending this way.
I didn't know that was a state. Years. We should move there.
Yeah. But the state of college basketball right now is that there is no dominant team.
Yeah.
All the teams at the top are very flawed. Throughout the course of the season, it was really tough for a number one team to be number one for multiple weeks. They were getting knocked off left and right. There was a record number of unranked teams beating ranked teams this year in college basketball. So I feel like we were set up for this being an insane tournament where the playing field is really leveled. So we're going to get a lot of upsets and have a lot of fun. So Daniel, in that, along that vein, we had a 15 seed that upsetted a 2. Upsetted. We had a 15 seed that upsetted a 2 this year, and that has actually now happened for 3 years in a row. And if you go back to 2012, although that's a long way to go back, it's actually happened 7 times. There also was a 16 seed.
It's happened 7 times in the last 11 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there also was a 16 seed in Fairleigh Dickinson, which we mentioned earlier, that upset Purdue. Yep. That's only happened twice.
Yep.
So my first thought immediately after that, which I stole from my son Peyton because I thought it was really funny, was, hey, put your bets in on Purdue to win next year's national title, because statistically, 100% of teams who are 1 seeds that get bounced by a 16 seed go on to win the national title the next year.
You know, I'm really disappointed that you did not credit Peyton that on the plethora of social media posts you made with that statement.
3. I posted it on 3.
But then you shared it like 14 times, I feel like.
Not 14.
Why did you not credit Peyton on those? You were just like, really clever.
He doesn't want credit.
No.
I credited him now, and more people listen to this podcast than are on Twitter, okay? So,
okay.
Obviously the reference there is Virginia is the only 1 seed to ever lose to a 16 seed. They lost to UMBC. They won the national title in a very fluky way the next year. And now they've gotten bounced in the first round 2 years in a row after that. So suck it, Virginia. But Daniel, I want to know, if you go back to 2012, there are, besides Princeton, who beat Arizona this year, there are 6 15 seeds to beat 2 seeds. How many of them can you name? There was actually, like I said, this is the 3rd year it's happened. So last year there was 1, and the year before that there was 1 as well.
Yeah, but okay, I'm sorry. I was texting. My bad.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, repeat the question.
So going back to 2012, there
2012. Okay, I know 1.
There are 7 15 seeds who have beaten a 2 seed, excluding Princeton because we just gave that one. There are 6.
So we're not doing this year.
Not doing this year.
Okay. Oh, I know one of the losers, and I know the star player for the winner.
Okay.
But can I remember the name of the school that did it?
I think you should.
I should. You're right. I absolutely should.
This is one of our favorite players.
Exactly. Well, I remember that C.J. McCollum took a big dookie all over Duke.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the name of the school he played for? Lehigh?
Lehigh! You got 1, Daniel. You got 1 out of the 6. That was in 2012. There were actually, in 2012, there were 2 15 seeds that beat 2 seeds.
Really?
Yeah. And then, like I mentioned, there was 1 last year and 1 the year before that.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm going to be really upset for not remembering the last 2 years. Because they're always kind of random teams, right? Like 16 and 15. You never see Missouri as a 15 seed.
No, but Missouri is one of the 2 seeds that got knocked
Really?
off by a 15 seed. It's funny that you'd mention them.
That's hilarious. Gosh, there's been some fun teams the last couple of years.
Last year's team made it to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, they had a run, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a famous guy named Dougie Dirt who was not very good.
Dougie Dirt?
Well, his name was Doug Edert,
Oh.
but we just call him Dougie Dirt.
Oh, gosh. Justin, I'm embarrassed. I'm just going to start naming random teams.
Do it.
Florida Gulf Coast.
Florida Gulf Coast is one. Dunk City in 2013 defeated Georgetown 78-68.
They won another game, didn't they?
They made it to the Sweet 16.
Okay,
Yeah.
That was a fun team. Let's see. I got Lehigh, Florida Gulf Coast, and
You remember last year's team, but you can't remember the school.
yeah.
They actually were defeated by North Carolina in the Elite Eight.
Was last year the year that... Last year was Oregon State's run to the Elite Eight, too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But they weren't a 15 seed.
Wait, was it last year?
They were a 12 seed.
Was it last year or was it 2 years ago?
I think it was last year.
Man, time just all runs together.
Seriously.
We are getting so old.
Yeah, we are. But I remember there was a team that we all jumped on until they got to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. They beat some really good teams along the way.
Yeah, they did. Can you name one of the teams that they beat along the way? It doesn't have to be the team, the 2 seed they upset. But...
Well, how about if I give you the 2 seed they upset?
Okay.
They beat Kentucky 85-79, which was a very good day. Because it's usually a good day when Kentucky loses. Except today was not a good day when Kentucky lost because I had Kentucky in the Sweet 16.
I'm struggling. I know it's not Davidson because they're too popular now, so I'm going to say Davidson.
No.
UMNC. Is there a team?
I don't think that's a school. Although UMBC is the 16 seed that beat 1-seeded Virginia.
Okay. I'm just going to... I feel like I've taken too long, so I'm going to surrender.
You surrender? Okay.
Yep. I'm highly disappointed in myself for not remembering last year's. Yeah. But other than that, I don't feel bad because these are all teams that generally you don't think of.
Yeah. Well, then I think also that you should get like half credit for remembering. Like you remember the team and you remember the run. You just don't remember the name of the school.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's interesting that you got 2 of the furthest back ones because you got Lehigh, which was 2012. And
there was a specific reason for that, though, right? Because it was Duke, and Duke can suck it, and C.J. McCollum is my favorite. Yeah. Didn't Duke Duke was one of the other teams that lost too, right? Haven't they lost twice as a 2 seed?
Not as a 2 seed, but they lost. They have lost. They have continuously underperformed in the NCAA tournament.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it. Yeah.
Okay,
when you have a team that I wish I remembered the tweet off the top of my head, but it was like, here's the number of 5-star recruits that Duke has over the last 10 years. Yes. Here's the number of Sweet 16 appearances. Yeah. And they do not match up.
Nope.
But the other teams were in 2012, in addition to Lehigh, Norfolk State defeated Missouri.
Okay.
By 2 points. You got Florida Gulf Coast in 2013. In 2016, Middle Tennessee beat Michigan State, which all those people who are out there saying you never bet against Tom Izzo in March, suck it.
Yep.
We have said that so many times in this episode.
Lots of suck-its.
Now, the last 3 years, we had Oral Roberts.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been a great one for me to pick because that's a college. I feel like that's a college hoop team that I should remember.
Yeah.
I feel
they defeated Ohio State 75-72.
That was great.
And in 2022, St. Peter's defeated Kentucky 85-79 before going on an Elite Eight run. And Princeton, after defeating Arizona, now they dominated Missouri yesterday.
Princeton's looking legit.
Well, Princeton barely squeaked by Arizona.
Yeah.
And I watched Missouri beat... What was the team Missouri beat? It was somebody good that they were expected to struggle against. And Missouri was a 7 seed.
Yeah.
And it was a common upset pick that Missouri was going to lose. I watched Missouri, and I was like, dang, that Missouri team looks really good. They have a 6'8", 250-pound guard
I remember
named Kobe Brown.
I picked Missouri to win against Utah State.
Utah State, that was the one, yeah.
And then I also... No, I didn't pick him to win after that. But I remember seeing that, the size of that guy, and I was like, I'm picking Missouri.
Dude, when you look at him, it looks weird. So, like, he is a legitimately massive person. He looks like a power forward.
Is he going to be a football player?
And then...
Is he going to be one of those transition guys?
Could be.
Yeah.
But he's really good, though. No, so this is a guy, Daniel, who, like... He's massive and he can play inside. And then the first thing that happened when I was watching him play was he knocked down 2 contested 3-pointers.
Oh, wow.
Like, he's a massive dude. So their guards are really good. Missouri looked really good. And Princeton smoked them. They were up by 20 points in the second half. I think they ended up winning by like 16 or something. But that Princeton team looks nice. They look really tough.
Yeah,
so
they won by 15 and they're taking on Creighton next.
Yeah.
So things have felt pretty well for them as well. Oh wait, no, did I just pick Creighton to win that game?
Creighton is playing
Baylor
today.
Okay, so they haven't beat Baylor yet.
Speaking of, I should check that Marquette score because this matters to me. Marquette.
This matters to me. Brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz.
No relation. Marquette is losing by 5 with 6 minutes left. Gosh darn it. I will throw this microphone across the room if Marquette loses while we're recording this show.
Can you throw something else? We only have one microphone.